Welcome, everyone. It's great to be with you and to be learning with you. Our presentation today is entitled On the Laws of Life 2. Now, persons well trained in a trade or profession or highly proficient in some line of work or task have mastered certain laws and principles and demonstrate them continually. In fulfilling their duties. Likewise, students of life, such as ourselves and students of mysticism, need to understand and creatively apply a wide range of laws and principles in accomplishing their mission in life and all the lines of service that we are called on to do in growing and maturing daily. I'm going to put up some slides to get us underway with our meditation, then we'll have the presentation proper. There, you'll be seeing now an artwork by Henry Ossawa Tanner. He lived from 1859 to 1937 at Incarnation. He was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he passed through transition in Paris, France. He studied with Thomas Atkins in Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. And then he moved to Paris in 1891. He found that he was respected as a person and as an artist much more in Paris than he was back in the United States. Now, his father, his name was Benjamin Tucker Tanner, who became a bishop in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And his father was quite active as in political reform, including the abolition of slavery. And his mother, Sarah Elizabeth Miller, was born into slavery in Virginia, but she was able to escape and make her way north. The painting we see before us is entitled The Thankful Poor. And part of it is his profound expression of spirituality, in part through his father, but also through his mother, and the deep ideals that they instilled in him and the courage that they instilled in him. It dates from 1894, and it's oil on canvas. The size is 35.5 inches by 44.2 inches, and it's owned by the Foundation Art Bridges. You'll see in it a beautiful expression of the law of humility with the title, The Thankful Poor, but also we see here two persons, possibly a grandfather and a grandson, thankful for what they have and the conditions that they are living in. We also see the law of cosmic attunement portrayed before us as they, when they're the sacred gestures, with their hands to the forehead, they're tuning with the cosmic. We also see, of course, the law of gratitude, thankfulness for the food they have. That in itself brings us into a cosmic attunement. I'll say a little bit more about this painting and various laws and principles that are applied in it that relate to the Rosicrucian studies. But assist us in going deeper into this understanding, we'll have our meditation now. So I invite you to look a little more at the painting, see the beautiful play of light and shadow, applying the law of duality or the law of polarity. The deep sense of stillness, applying the law of silence in the work, attuning us with the cosmic, just as we'll do when we do our meditation. And when you're ready, I invite you now to close your eyes and we'll meditate following the booklet Liber 777. For many of the references that I'll give to you, Karen will post them in the chat towards the end of the presentation. So with your eyes closed, take a few deep breaths. And by that, we mean neither holding the inhalation nor holding the exhalation. Just enjoy the beautiful rhythm of the breath. Apply the law of polarity or the law of duality with the in-breathing and the out-breathing. We also apply the law of vibration, because this beautiful rhythmic action is a vibration of the breath. It's a very simple act, but a very profound one that we will spiritualize. Because with the breathing of the air, we bring in not only oxygen and nitrogen and other chemical constituents, but also the vital life force that animates our body. I think with the in-breathing and the ex-breathings, especially if you prolong the exhalation, that stimulates the vagus nerve and it produces a relaxation response. But also when there's a spiritual purpose, it brings us deeper into the attunement with the cosmic. And by the cosmic, the Rosicrucians refer to all natural and spiritual laws and the great universal intelligence back of the cosmos, of which we partake and are part of, and which we'll attune with now. As we do these breaths and turn inward, we're applying the law of purification to prepare ourselves to raise our vibrations to attune with the much higher rates of vibration in the cosmic keyboard. If you can think of a keyboard stretching out tremendously in higher and higher octaves of vibration, moving through the mental and emotional and the psychic and into the overarching spiritual. Now to begin our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum, inspired by the work of the artist Tanner in this humble and uplifting scene of spirituality. We'll now travel to the center of the universe, but we'll apply the law of correspondence, as above, so below, and raising up to the heights of the celestial sanctum in the center of the cosmos, we'll at the same time go to the full depths of our inner being. We'll say a prayer, an invocation, begin this ascent, or celestial ascent. And you can say with me, may the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum in pureness and worthiness and in tune with the cosmic. So mote it be. Now use your imagination and your psychic capacity to rise up from the room where you're seated, up over the room and up over the house where you dwell, or the space where you are, and see the neighborhood all around you, and start to enjoy this inner exhilaration of the ascent, and see the city or the geographic area around you. And rise up and going faster and faster, accelerate. We'll move quicker and quicker, well beyond the speed of light, because we're transcending space and time. We're not having physical limitations. And let's rise up and see down below us the province or state where we live, and see the great weather systems and the landforms, whether they be deserts or plains or rivers or oceans or lakes, or hills or mountains, metropolises and roads. Take in the great system and order of our province or state, and rise up faster and faster again and see now the great nation and country where we dwell. And move faster and faster now and see down below the continent where we dwell. And now the hemisphere, whether it be the north and south hemisphere, and ultimately rise up faster and see the beautiful blue jewel of earth, the earth, and see the oceans and great landforms, and the great spiraling weather systems, and see how the earth is rotating about a great axis from its north to south pole, beautiful harmony and order, just like our breath has its own rhythm and motion. And let's look up from the earth and see the solar system, see the great fiery ball of the sun, and see the other planets going about their elliptical orbits around our star, the sun. See the spectacular planet of Saturn with its great rings and the huge, beautiful planet of Jupiter and the red planet Mars and the smaller planet Venus, and feel the different psychic influences off these planets of our beautiful home in the solar system. And then rise up faster and faster and see other stars, not only the sun, but myriad other stellar phenomena, such as pulsars and quasars and black holes, which help keep your universe in balance. But also see binary stars, pulsars, their own vibrational emanations. And keep rising up faster and faster and take in the interstellar gases and the nebulae and start to sense the great spiraling motion of our home, the Milky Way galaxy, and rise right out from it and see below you the great arm where we dwell, where our solar system is, and take in the beautiful colors and vibrations of the Milky Way galaxy and its great spiraling actions about its center. Just as the Earth rotates and the planets revolve about the sun, so about the great central axis of the Milky Way, our home, there's a great rotation or revolution. And now look up and see other galaxies and nebulae and take in a much greater range of vibrations than the 5 physical senses can take. We'll use our psychic faculties to move up far higher in the cosmic keyboard and take in a great ocean of vibrations all around us in a very inspiring nature. In a way, this is the harmony of the spheres, the great divine music, as beautiful as any earthly music, or that an inspired music on earth is imitating this. And rise up faster and faster and enjoy the ascent way beyond the speed of light. Use great inner spiritual force now. Do not be passive. Use your inner resources to rise up higher and higher with ease. And we'll take in now not only individual galaxies, but clusters of galaxies and superclusters of galaxies spoken of by astronomers and astrophysicists. As we move faster and faster, take in even more the great waves of vibrations of the cosmic keyboard and sense the animation and life force throughout the universe. And as we rise up higher and higher, passing many, many galaxies and their superclusters and sensing the great system and order and harmony of it all, the great music of the cosmos, start to sense that just as those lesser and smaller entities were rotating, revolving, the universe itself is revolving about a great cosmic axis spoken of by mystic and ancient philosophers. The axis mundi, here the axis of the world, their axis of the cosmos. Sense the stupendous harmony and motion of this great revolving action about the cosmic axis, which mirrors the axis in our own body, the holy temple, that of the spine, in its special work through the nervous system, to attune with all these vibrations. And as you go faster and faster, sense the position of this great axis and home in on the midpoint of that axis. And as you go faster and faster towards it, slow up as you reach it, and there will form at the very center of the cosmic axis, at the very center of the universe, will form our celestial sanctum described in the booklet, Liber 777. And when you've reached the place of the celestial sanctum, the center of the cosmos, the center of our being, for as we've done this great celestial ascent, we've gone deeper and deeper within ourselves to attune with the master within, the divine within. Look about you and see the great harmony and order of the cosmos, the great handiwork of the Creator. As is our holy temple, the handiwork of the Creator. All the laws and principles going on within the holy temple of our body are mirrored in those going on in the macrocosm of the cosmos, paralleling and matching us as a microcosm. Now, as the booklet Liber 777 describes, fill in with sights and sounds and impressions your sacred place, your celestial sanctum. Maybe an inspiring temple, like the Grand Temple at Rosicrucian Park in San Jose, California, or may a Christian church or cathedral, or a Sikh Gurdwara, or a Buddhist stupa, or a Hindu mandir, or a Jewish synagogue, or some other sacred place that you know is important to you. It may be a special place in nature, such as seated by a great lake, or an ocean shoreline, or a high place on a hill or a mountain with an expansive view suggesting of the cosmic consciousness. Or it may be a sacred grove where the ancient Rosicrucians used to perform the work and worship of our order. Fill in all the sights and sound of your sacred place now. Feel the exhilaration, not only the ascent to this high place in the cosmos, both the exhilaration and beauty of your sacred place. Feel the full range of vibrations of the cosmic keyboard as you attune with the cosmic and as symbolized by your sacred temple or sacred place in nature. You may wish to picture other scenes there, such as beautiful stained glass windows representing Rosicrucian laws and principles, incense burning, and as it rises up, it suggests the great ascent to the cosmic that we've done. And sense others with us on this teleconference who are seekers of the greater light and initiates of the mysteries. And all seekers and ascended masters and cosmic masters and the imperator of order and grand masters who may be conducting a special service here. And when you've filled in the inspiring sights and sounds of your celestial sanctum, let us apply the law of silence and let us dwell there in cosmic attunement with the divine within us and throughout the cosmos. You may find it helpful to still the outer nature by the rhythmic breaths, but with each breath go deeper and deeper into the divine within. Your true guide in nature has been always with you, always there to assist, always there to show the right perspective, the uplifting perspective, the healing perspective. If you find your mind wandering, just let go the cares of the day. Come back to the gentle rhythm of the breath, attune with the divine within, at the center of the cosmos, at the center of your being. As we dwell in silence, just feel whatever there is to feel. Whatever comes up, takes note of it, but then just return back to the silence and the deep, invigorating breaths. You may feel the life force pulsating and tingling in your body. Just take note of it, but then return back to the silence deep within you. View this time as a mini retreat to be recharged and revitalized, all the more ready to fulfill your mission in life. Discharge your duties with enjoyment, with vigor, and with acceptance, and with confidence. For as we work and recognize our true nature with the divine within, we come into self-mastery. Even as we continue to dwell in peace profound, or profound peace, we'll conduct another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc by sending metaphysical aid. But we'll use our deep attunement with the cosmic to be all the more effective in undertaking that spiritual operation. In so doing, we'll apply the law of service and many other laws. As we ascend into the cosmic, we use great inner force. But once we've reached this place of the celestial sanctum, let us continually surrender the outer nature to the divine within and recognize it, allow it to enrich and ennoble us. For it is our true nature, our true guide. And from the depths of our being, let us be a channel to love and well-being to radiate out from us to all those who've petitioned the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc for healing and for guidance. Radiate love and well-being to them. And to all those who've petitioned our affiliate bodies for health and healing, radiate love and well-being to them as well. And all those who are in front line of the health profession for service, let us radiate love and well-being to them as well. And let this love and well-being from the depths of our being continue to radiate out through the cosmos to all those that we know who are in need, and indeed all sentient beings who are in need. Just radiate out the love and well-being like a great searchlight going out throughout the entire cosmos. Just let it flow. Feel the exhilaration of its flow out from you, just like the exhilaration to rise into the heights of the cosmos. Do not be concerned whether this is possible to do. Just do it. The divine within knows how. Let it assist you. If you wish to conclude yourself as one that you're radiating the light and love and well-being to, that is fine. But I assure you, by having this love and well-being flow through your holy temple, it'll help with your healing as much as any petition to the cosmic. Following the law of compensation, the law of karma, for as we give, so shall we receive, even without the intention for it. And at a certain point, I think you'll feel this great flow of the healing forces of the universe will continue without any conscious effort. And when that happens, just continue to dwell in silence, feeling the great flow of the healing forces of the universe going out from you, enriching you, ennobling you, and all those sentient beings throughout the cosmos in need. Remain focused on the divine within in the deep silence as the healing forces of the universe continue to radiate out from you, from the depth of your being, letting the holy temple act as a channel or conduit for these forces. I think as you do this act, you'll find that there's a deep sense of rightness, deep sense of knowing who one is. For as we move towards the divine moves towards us, and we become one with the one. Let us merge with the cosmic mind now. Let us be the cosmic mind. Let us experience as the cosmic mind experiences. Let us assume the cosmic mind now. Continue to dwell in the deep silence and one with the cosmic mind. Enjoy the exhilaration, the upliftment and the joy. I will formally conclude this period of radiating love and well-being, ascending to metaphysical aid, as a silent council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, or Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order. Our meditation will continue a while longer, but to formally conclude this period of metaphysical aid, assured that it will continue as a way of life for radiating love and well-being to all. Let us say, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. Now let's continue to dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum a while longer, one with the cosmic mind. Which is our birthright and true state. Now, before we begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, let us invoke the law of gratitude and give thanks for this opportunity to be of service in the healing of humanity and of all beings. And this opportunity to attune with the cosmic, our birthright, further develop as rose on the path of the rose qua in self-mastery. And wish us to extend gratitude to all those who have loved you, and all those who have taught you well, and all those who have sacrificed for you, so that you could be stronger and better in this life. We wish to radiate love and well-being to them now. Whether they're incarnated or not, it will reach them. And if tears come to our eyes, that is good. Let us be bathed in the soul. Now let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Let us descend now with a prayer of thankfulness, the privilege to attune the cosmic and undertake this meditation with the celestial sanctum as we speed faster than the speed of light past super clusters of galaxies, enjoying the great rhythm and actions throughout the cosmos and all this great sea of vibrations, the great harmony, system, and order of it all, revealed to us through our divine nature and all our faculties as a holy temple, a microcosm, and pass by now individual galaxies and nebulae, and see way in the distance the beautiful spiraling galaxy that is the Milky Way galaxy, our great home, and home in on the great arm where we dwell, And once you've plunged in through it, see all the stellar phenomena, the pulsars and quasars and nebulae and interstellar gases within it, and search out for our star, the sun, and see it way in the distance in the solar system with the great orbits of the planets about. As you come close to the fiery ball of the sun, return to the beautiful blue jewel of the earth. We come down on the hemisphere where you dwell, the continent, great nation or country where you dwell, the city or state, and then the city or geographic area. And you can say with me now, may the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum, so mote it be. And let us continue to send on our city or geographic area to our neighborhood, and then our home and dwelling, and the room where we left off, in the chair or wherever we're situated, feeling rejuvenated, remade, and reborn. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, all the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian order in our presentation. Thank you. Discuss further now Henry Ossawa's Tanner's painting, The Thankful Poor. It's quite remarkable that actually in 2021, Laura Eva Hartman, who's the paintings conservator at the Dallas Museum of Art, did extensive conservation work on this painting, owned by Art Bridges. Discovered many surprising things about it. You see in conservatory work, various higher rates of vibration of the cosmic keyboard are used. For example, there's infrared photography is used that can reveal the underdrawings that Tanner did under this work, how he repositioned things. He was working for a system, harmony and order. Also through the visible light of our eyes on the cosmic keyboard, we're trained in our order to observe carefully so we can visualize and be a co-creator with God, just like an artist, but we can co-create in our environment through visualization that we learn in our weekly lessons. There's also ultraviolet radiation that's used in conservatory work, and that can reveal the materials and the signature of the materials that were used. And if there were, sometimes that can help to identify the artist because they may have distinctive mixtures of paints and oils such as linseed oil. But also X-rays can be used. They can reveal different densities in materials. It was interesting in this work, there was other paintings associated with this, including on the back of the canvas, but also where he was replacing things, testing and adjusting things. In effect, applying throughout the law of vibration. Now, you'll see it in the center of the painting, but we're going to move clockwise around the painting to talk about various laws and principles of the Rosicrucians that are applied directly and indirectly in this work, or suggested of this work as an illustration to us as students of mysticism. We'll start at the top with the Law of Cosmic Attunement. We did that in our meditation, but as we mentioned earlier, we're seeing this in this painting in a very humble way, but the humility of this painting actually tunes with the cosmic even more, because as we grow and learn, we become more and more humble, because in life we essentially have two choices in regard to law of humility, either to be humbled or we will be humbled. And that leads us to a greater openness to understand and be more fully ourselves. Just taking time with this painting helps attune us with the cosmic. There's also the law of transmutation here, because we can see that with the Lord's Supper in the upper room or the temple, in a way is reenacted here, often with the Lord's Prayer of the mystic and initiate with his students, the Master Yeshua or the Master Jesus. In a way that is reenacted here. But the transmutation that's done of the food as we pray. The Rosicrucians have a particular way of holding their hands to charge the food, and that's an act of transmutation. But also as we turn ourselves inwardly in spirituality, no matter what's going on in our life, no matter what we've been through in our life, such as these persons would be facing their challenges in the late 19th century. We transmute the situation and come into a greater understanding. In our daily life, there's always challenges to deal with, always things that tends to give challenges or make the outer self wonder about why we're doing things and so forth. If we transmute the situation, draw forth the divine within, we'll get that strength and well-being back in us. Whether it's a challenging email that we said, and rather than replying back right away, take some deep breaths, feel that vital life force come in, attune with that deeper part of our nature, and see a more constructive way to respond rather than reacting to situations in our life. We respond with the divine within. We see the law of balance here. There's the interplay of light and shadow that's at work. That way it gives it a three-dimensionality to a flat surface. We also see the law of duality protected here because we have both the physical natures, but the suggestion of the inner spiritual nature, for example. We have the law of gratitude here because even in the title, The Thankful Poor, no matter what we have and what we can be thankful for that, and that'll help draw and attract more to us by the law of attraction. We see depicted as well the law of compensation, which you may know as the law of karma, or the law of cause and effect. Because these persons, for example, the figure that appears as the grandfather, he's provided, he's made various things available to the child so they can grow and learn. They both incarnated in this situation for great lessons, just as we have. Everything in this painting is through the law of, you could say, is the law of cause and effect, to give rise to the physicality of our world, to have the various processes and foods that are available to them, all the humanity that's been working to make those available. There's a great range of the law of cause and effect at work here, or law of karma or compensation. And as we recognize these various laws, we'll find that our life improves, that we're much more enriched in understanding. The law of unity is at work here because you see individual details in the work as you see it, but you also have the overall impact of the painting. It's a very poignant and humbling scene that helps us attune with the cosmic and with the wonder, with the divine unity. The interplay of the light and the dark come together to form the picture. They give the deep sense of three-dimensionality in the painting, even though it's a two-dimensional surface. All these different parts working together. The artist has worked on the individual elements, where to place the plates and the cups, where to place the wall, where to place the light of the window that would bring the light in a way suggestive of the spiritual light in on these figures to give them even more definition, but all forms this unified, powerful expression of a master artist. We've spoken already about the law of duality and the law of polarity through the interplay of the light and shadows. But these physical works on the finite plane, when they're done well and we attune with them, they'll draw us to the infinite plane, applying the law of duality. And when that occurs, we move into the experience of union, or the law of unity. There's a law of transmission here as well, because just as we're taught in school, and we're taught in the order by the class master and the grand master and others, down through the ages, there's a passing of learning and teachings, how to do crafts, how to learn various mystical laws and principles. They're passed, but also an initiatic order. The Rosicrucians pass an initiatic chain or current through to us, just as the grandfather will pass to the grandson, as suggested here, and also the Master Jesus taught his students and as reenacted here in their prayer of gratitude. There's also the law of change here, because there's subtle, you suggest subtly the blowing of the wind, for example. They're moving the shades, the shades just slightly in the windows. We know that the young boy here, this is from a period that's in the late 19th century. He's now, what was the future coming for him in challenging times. in the United States and the coming of the Great War, for example, World War I. The grandfather that figure there, you would have seen great changes in the United States, the Civil War, for example, the hardship and the slavery, all these different things that were occurring. As I've emphasized throughout to the law of humility, that one turns inward to the master within, the divine within, for guidance, and then the outer nature will be enriched and ennobled. There's a law of purification, just like we had the prayer when we entered into their attunement with the cosmic and we did our celestial ascent. You're purifying oneself, one's mind and body by turning it inwardly. So the food is used to good use, but also the thoughts are digested well. And there's a communion and discussion and love between the grandfather figure and the grandson figure. We talked earlier about something related to the first law of Rosicrucian ontology, which is based in Genesis 2:7, that with the first breath, the human being becomes a living soul. Rosicrucians say that the living personality joins with the physical body. Ourselves and the persons before us here are animated through breathing in through the first breath. We become an independent in our expression at our first breath when we are born. Come up from, we see that in the animated figures here, but everything is maintained through this first law of Rosicrucian ontology, including the scene that we see here of these two figures before us. These are all laws that we learn to apply through our systematic teachings of the Rosicrucian order in our weekly lessons. Let me show you another work of art by Henry Owasso Tanner. It's entitled The Banjo Lesson. And you'll see similar figures here. Appears to be like a grandfather figure teaching what may be a grandson, or an elder teaching a young person how to play the banjo. And this work dates from 1893. It's also oil on canvas. It's 49 inches high by 35.5 inches wide. It's at Hampton University Museum. You see again, there's lots of interplay of light, particularly coming in from the left to hold our attention in that sense of three-dimensionality. There's the background light of the room that we see. We see a very humble setting, but it's a very beautiful and poignant one. Let us also look at the various laws that are being applied in this work. And you'll see all around it, I've positioned some laws that can be described. At the very top, I put the law of love. And you'll see there's a very strong sense of love suggested between the elder and the young person. And then it's a very loving act to pass on one's skill and knowledge to another, just as we've had from our own parents and guardians and grandparents. And that way, the grandchild passes on what they learned from their grandchild to their grandchildren and so forth. We also have the law of attunement, because we have also the young boy attuning with the mind of the elder for the instructions. But we also applied the law of attunement when you listen to me, or when we go to the heights of the celestial sanctum. Also, in terms of law of patience, to learn a new skill or to teach someone a new skill requires a great deal of patience. And that there's also in our own lives to learn and grow requires a lot of patience, not only in skills in school, but also for mastership of spirituality, which means mastership of life itself. We also see the law of receptivity, or the law, what we could also call the law of balance. I should say the law of obedience, where the child will need to be receptive and obedient to the teachings of the elder. We also, and we see that in our own life too, where we have to be receptive to learn things, to the divine within, but also we recognize those who know more about a particular topic, and that's to take what they say seriously. There has to be that application of the law of receptivity. We also have the law of polarity and the law of duality that was mentioned in earlier parts of our presentation, but also you see it here with the interplay of light and shadow, the youth and the elder, and in various ways in our own life. There's also what can be called the law of resistance. That's where to learn something, we have to show our worthiness. You know, this banjo playing, that takes time and effort. We have to make a strong effort, just as in laws and principles of spirituality and mysticism in our own life. We have to overcome any things to say, okay, I'm tired, or I don't wish to really feel. Outward nature doesn't really do that, but we feel inwardly guided to. That resistance has to be overcome. We have to show our worthiness. Important part of this is also the law of concentration. One has to focus on the task. Like when we meditate, when mind wanders, come back to the task. We know from psychologists that a substantial part of our lives is actually wandering off to things. We need to come back to task, to focus, to be able to achieve a mastery, whether it be banjo playing or mastery of life. Law of creativity is very important because we need creative expression in our life, whether it's through the banjo or whatever we do in our life, because working with the imagination, it helps the emotions flow, but it also gets the mind working with the intellect. And if we find that the law of creativity isn't at work in our lives, we'll tend to feel that we're rather stifled. Our life is less meaningful. So it's very important to apply that law of creativity, not just for things that great artists do, but what everyone does daily. There's also the law of respect, or the law of dignity, and we see that a lot of that portrayed between the boy and the man in this painting, but also throughout our lives, everyone deserves respect, their expression of the divine within, as suggested in this painting. We see the law of transmission again, because there's the transmission of one skill to another. You know, it's down through the great teachings of music that came from Africa, for example. They were so profoundly important in the music of the Americas in the 20th century, and the 21st century, through great performers like Robert Johnson or Son House, Blind Lemon Jefferson, and many others. They also had to learn through their elders. We see also here the law of service, because in a way the elder here is performing a service for the young person, just as the elder was taught by his elders. But just in our own life, whatever we've been given, whatever strengths we have, behooves us to pass those on to those who are in need of them. That also keeps the spiritual force flowing through us and helps with our divine attunement. We see the law of impersonality here as well. It's not about who we are so much. It's about what are we doing and giving in love and passing on. The law of impersonality also is to see, not to hold on to things. It allows the law of love to act even more and expressive. And then we can see more things truly as they are as we stand back more impersonally from situations. An important law to Rosicrucians is the law of the triangle, but it's also known as the law of manifestation, or the law of perfection. And that's where you have 2 points of a triangle. We have one polarity, a second polarity, and when they're brought together in a perfect way, it'll form a new manifestation. That can be, for example, the boy here has the inclination to learn the banjo and has the banjo, but he also at one point has the banjo and the inclination, but he also needs the teacher to show how it's been done. And when those are brought together properly, then he can start playing it, and he can play it well. We find that throughout our lives. If we're finding that something important isn't manifesting in our life, we look at the two polarities that are needed to create it. It may be that one is well in place, but another isn't. And so that may need adjustment before it can manifest. Whenever we want to achieve something important in our life, it's important to dream and have idealism, but then there has to be the important follow through on it. We have to then concentrate not only in the dream and the ideal, but then we have to move to concentrate on its fulfillment. They're quite distinct, but when those are well in place, there will be the manifestation. Sometimes it's through vigilance and pieces where you're putting together a jigsaw puzzle, or maybe a painting like this that Tanner did, that gradually filled in and worked in. The law of suggestion is something we use that's very important. And it's something that our self-confidence is very important, but we can help instill self-confidence in others through the law of suggestion. It's taking in a concept or an idea that becomes like a law in the subconscious. And we only want to place their laws in the subconscious that are life-affirming and healing. But the law of suggestion is very important in that regard. It can be far stronger than a command, an outer yelled command, because it allows it to go into the subconscious, and we use our conscience to decide what's to be accepted there. The law of attraction is a very important law, just like you were attracted to the Rosicrucian order, to this presentation today. As we use our mind and we visualize, as I spoke about earlier, that help attracts through law of vibration, things into our life that we visualize in our mind and released into the subconscious that we learn in visualization. The law of attraction will reach out and bring those things to us, our circumstances. Just like these two full personalities conveyed in the painting were attracted to each other in this incarnation. The final law I'll mention about this painting is the law of correspondence, as above, so below. Just as we had ascended into the cosmic, we went deep in the cosmos, we went deep within ourselves. We see here a depiction in this painting is like a microcosm, the macrocosm of what the human being is and how it learns and grows through the master as represented by the grandfather, but also as the teacher, initiator as the grandfather. In a way, this is a correspondence with our own lives and what humanity has to do in general. And our home setting there is like our own small temple, our place of sacred conduct that mirrors the larger temple of a built structure, but also the macrocosm as a temple. As we move towards the close of our presentation, I wanted to show you one more painting by Henry Assawa Tanner. It's entitled The Enunciation. It dates from 1898. It's oil on canvas, and it's 57 inches by 71¼ inches. It's at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. It shows the announcement by the Archangel Gabriel of the Enunciation of Mary that's described in Luke 1:26-38. We see that Mary's been awakened, and we see the Archangel as this divine being of light in the left. And there's a powerful radiation. We see a variety of laws and principles here with Law of Cosmic Attunement, Law of Humility on the part of Mary, but also the Law of Receptivity and the Law of Service that she's taking part in, as well as the Archangel's taking part in. You may recall reading the book by Dr. A. Spencer Lewis, The Mystical Life of Jesus, where he talks about the virgin birth of avatars and the various special Rosicrucian laws and principles that they are by which physical manifestations can take place. Spiritual vibrations or higher vibrations of the vital life force through the word and thought can form into, crystallize and condense in a physical form. That's part of the deeper spiritual meaning of the Enunciation and the virgin birth. But it also relates to our own birth within ourselves into the Christ consciousness or the cosmic consciousness that is done through these spiritual practices, such as the meditation that we did and myriad other mystical exercises we learn in our daily lessons in the Rosicrucian teachings, but also by applying the Rosicrucian laws and principles, some of which we mentioned today.